A reading from the book of Job. Job again took up his discourse and said, "If I have made gold my trust, or called fine gold my confidence, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, or because my hand had gotten much, if I had looked at the sun when it shone, or the moon moving in splendor, and my heart has been secretly enticed, and my mouth has kissed my hand, this also would be an iniquity to be punished by the judges, for I should have been false to God above. If I have rejoiced at the ruin of those who hated me, or exulted when evil overtook them, I have not let my mouth sin by asking for their lives with a curse. If those of my tent ever said, 'Oh, that we might be sated with his flesh,' the stranger has not lodged in the street. I have opened my doors to the traveler. If I have concealed my transgressions as others do, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, because I stood in great fear of the multitude, and the contempt of families terrified me, so that I kept silence and did not go out of doors. Oh, that I had one to hear me! Here is my signature. Let the Almighty answer me. Oh, that I had the indictment written by my adversary! Surely I would carry it on my shoulder. I would bind it on me like a crown. I would give him an account of all my steps. Like a prince I would approach him. If my land has cried out against me, and its furrows have wept together, if I have eaten its yield without payment, and caused the death of its owners, let thorns grow instead of wheat, and foul weeds instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So in the conclusion of kind of Job's part of the book of Job, it says the words of Job are ended. We have kind of the climax of Job's cry, which is basically, here is my signature or my seal. Let the Almighty answer me. He directly desires an answer from God for all the ill and evil that has befallen him. And he said, "Oh, if I could only have the indictment written by my adversary," in a sense that goes back to the word for Satan, which means adversary. And it's like, basically, if I only knew what the charges were. And I think what is such a powerful evocation so often of the plight of the human. That is, in a sense, we're not really even sure what the charges are. You think of Franz Kafka's The Trial, where basically the defendant has no idea what he or she is supposed to be guilty of, but the trial's proceeding, and one is utterly powerless to present one's case, in a sense, to say, just, come on, just tell me what I've done wrong so I can try to fix it. And he demands an audience with the Almighty. And I think that's one of the things that we, as God's people, is one of the things that especially you look at the Old Testament, and you look at Abraham arguing with God, about the fate of Sodom, and you have so again and again you have these, and Jacob wrestling with God and becoming Israel. Since God is the God we know in Jesus, and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a God who's willing to be wrestled with. He's a God who's willing to be shouted at, and it doesn't faze him. It doesn't put him off of us. He's willing to receive our anger and our cries and our doubts, our vexations, our feelings of betrayal. Even it's the prophet Jeremiah says, basically, you seduced me, God, and I was seduced. You tricked me into being your prophet. You told me everything would be fine. Well, of course, God didn't say that, but Jeremiah thinks, I'm a prophet. I'm supposed to be, surely God would protect me as I try to deliver his word. And now I'm rejected by everybody. I don't have any friends anymore. And God, it's your fault. And God doesn't strike him down. He doesn't strike him down. Instead, he pours out his mercy on him and delivers him from those who try to silence him. again, so just again, the Bible says that God can take our anger. It's okay to pour out your anger and frustration to God. In fact, God responds to that. In a sense, when we are willing just to kind of pour out all our words and leave ourselves open, leave it, just put it all on the table, that's when God can really begin to work on us. When we can kind of get out of our head and pour out our hearts, that's when God can really begin to take hold of us and make a change in our lives. So kind of maybe just skip all the steps, the first 30 chapters of Job, and just get straight to chapter 31, which we read today. Just get straight to the part where you say, God, I'm at the end of my rope. I'm done. I can't think of anything else to say. I need you to answer me. I can't figure this out on my own. And just see what God might do.